All right, so I have an Instant Pot. I think a lot of people got Instant Pots for Christmas, and I see in a lot of threads that people are scared of using their Instant Pot. I have been there. We are in a hurry. We're preparing to leave for the weekend. And I was like, oh, I'll have to meal prep on Sunday. But I decided that I am gonna rush and make this taco chicken before we go. Now, I haven't told my husband, so I hope that it gets done before we go. Okay, so step one. I went ahead and I turned on the saute button on my Instant Pot, and I have in here a little bit of chicken broth, and I have frozen chicken breast. The clue to the Instant Pot is to understand that when it says it takes 15 minutes to cook something, you have to allow the time for the pressure to build up in the pot. And that could take anywhere from 6 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on how much liquid, how much stuff you have in the pot. So I don't have very much stuff in here, just a little chicken broth and my frozen chicken. I'm also gonna add a little water. Normally I would add like a can of Rotel or some salsa to make salsa chicken, but I don't have any of that. I do have my taco seasoning, and I'm just, making sure it was taco and not Cajun from my jambalaya. So I'm just gonna sprinkle that in. And the reason I turned it on to saute first is just to heat up the pot a little bit so that maybe it will not take as long to build up the pressure. So we were talking about this today, and I've seen other people say, oh, well, if I warm my pot up, it doesn't take as long. So I just have it on saute, although I'm not really sauteing my chicken. I am gonna kind of turn it over. One thing I noticed about frozen chicken is that what could happen is when it's done, where the chicken was stuck together, it might seem like it's not as cooked. So sometimes at the very end, what I do is I go ahead and I break it apart a little bit, and then I put it back in and I let it cook just a little bit longer. So I still have it on saute, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, okay? So what I need to do now is set it for how long I want the food to cook. Don't worry about the pressure time, that's on its own. So I'm gonna put it on poultry, because mine has a poultry setting. You could also just put it on manual. It's on high pressure, so you can see right here, high pressure, and it's on 10. You would use 10 to 12 minutes for thawed chicken. You can see that my pot was warmed up here. It's ready to go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this on 23 minutes. I'm just guessing. Usually maybe about 20 would even be enough. But then I'm gonna seal my pot on, okay? You need to make sure you have this on sealing. Now, because my pot was already warmed up, you can see now it's ready to start building pressure. Over here on the back, I have the little sealing thing. You have to have it on sealing. You have to make sure your seal ring is in. I had just washed mine, so I made sure it was in there nice and snug. Then right next to the sealing ring, there's a little silver button here. You can't see it because it's down. As soon as the pressure is built up, that will become flush with the pot, and that's how you know that the pressure is ready to go. But the pot will also beep. So currently, it's still on. It just says on. When the pressure's built up, that will switch back to 23 and it will count down. I'm almost positive it counts down. I've already forgotten. It'll count down, or it'll count up. I think it'll count down. I guess we'll see. So now the pressure's building up. I'm just gonna wait patiently. And this is why I love the Instant Pot, because now I can just walk away. It's just gonna build up its pressure, it'll beep, it'll start its cooking. And after 23 minutes, it'll beep again. Now, here's the other lesson you need for the Instant Pot. When the timer is done, the pot will beep, and then you need to know, hey Kristen, hey Debbie, is my recipe a natural release or a quick release? Now, in this case, I'm in a little bit of a rush. I wanna make sure that my chicken, is cooked all the way through. I might quick release it. And all that means is turning the sealing to venting, and the steam will just blow out, okay? So don't stand over it like this. Don't do that, just switch it to sealing or venting, and you could even use like a spoon or something like that. If your recipe is natural release, the purpose of that is that after it beeps, like in this case, after 23 minutes, after it beeps, it will begin to naturally release the pressure, meaning the food is gonna cook a little bit longer, all right? So that's the difference between quick release and natural release. When I make cauliflower rice or 1 minute asparagus or something like that, then you're gonna use the quick release because you don't want it to keep cooking. So for instance, let's say I'm gonna make my 1 minute asparagus. It really takes about 10 minutes because it's gonna take 6 minutes or so for the pressure to build up. Then it'll take a minute to cook. Well, it might take 8 minutes. Okay, 6 minutes to build up, a minute to cook, and then you want to let the quick release happen and get your food right out of there. So the quick release allows you to cook things quickly, but then release the pressure on your own. And the quick release is also like a manual release, you can think of it, because you're manually releasing the pressure. But you'll see in recipes, it'll say NP or QP, and that means natural or R, QR or NR, natural release or quick release. And you just need to know the difference between those two. So the 2 tips I have for you is be ready for the pressure buildup time and know the difference between quick release and natural release, and you know how to do them and why they matter. That's really important. You'll also hear, I can hear it now, that it's starting to build up because I can hear the pot making noise. It'll make little clicking sounds. It's nothing to be concerned about. That's just kind of what it does, is it expands with the pressure. This is the 6-quart Instant Pot. I know some people have the 3-quart mini or the Duo. So you always want to check the recipe and make sure that you're adding the right amount of liquid or whatever for your size pot. I didn't even know there were other sizes. I was like, you know, I had FOMO. Everybody was getting the Instant Pot last year. I'm like, oh, I have to get one. I did get rid of my crock pot or slow cooker. So when people say it's instant, it's not that it's going to be instant or quick with every single recipe you make. It's definitely going to be faster than a slow cooker. And remember, because you're cooking in quicker time, you're retaining more of the nutrients in your food. Imagine when you cook food, here it goes, building up its pressure. When you cook your food over a long period of time, you're also going to be cooking out a lot of the nutrients. So keep that in mind when you're using your Instant Pot as well. I don't know, maybe let's hang out like another second here and see. If you have any questions, you can comment below. If you have an Instant Pot, let me know. I feel really great about it. I'm sure there are many things I could be doing. I saw a recipe for like cinnamon buns. I was telling my daughter I've made cheesecake in my Instant Pot. I have lasagna soup recipe up on my blog at michellekrill.com, so you can always look for recipes there. I have my 1-minute asparagus video on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Feel Great Now, just like the page. The cauliflower rice is so easy. You just cut up your florets, you stick them in the steamer basket in there with a little bit, cup of water underneath. 1 minute, you take it out, you mash it up a little bit, you drain the water, and you add a little oil, maybe some seasonings, whatever you want it to taste like. So that's probably what I'll do to go along with my taco chicken for next week. I'll probably make some taco cauliflower rice. I already made my meal plan, and that's what I put on it, so that's what I'm going to be doing. You could mix broccoli in there too. You could have a broccoli cauliflower mixture. The thing about cauliflower, remember, is that it just tastes like whatever you put on it. So if you're nervous about eating vegetables or you don't eat many vegetables, I definitely recommend that you try cauliflower because you can do so many different things with it. So my sealer is almost up. It's really getting, you know, maybe you can see it. You can see the steam going here. Now that's not all the steam, that's just what's escaping around the ring. So as soon as that ring is flush, I thought maybe we'd get to see what the timer does. They don't recommend moving the pot around or anything like that while it's under pressure, so I'm just gonna let it sit here and go. Here we go. Okay, so now it's flat. I suspect the pot is gonna beep any time now, and my food is actually gonna start to cook under pressure. I'm so excited because now when I come home, my food will be ready. I'm just gonna stick it in the refrigerator. I could put it in the freezer, but I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Let me know, like I said, if you have any questions about the Instant Pot, if you got one, if you have any tips for me, I'd love to hear them. Any recipes you find, send them my way. So if you're on Pinterest and you see a great Instant Pot recipe and you're like, I wonder how this would be, let me know because I could probably try it. As long as it's not like, oh, you know what I'm gonna make this weekend or next week? Ribs. Somebody shared a great rib recipe and I made them once and they were, my family was lukewarm on them, but I'm excited to try ribs again in the Instant Pot. You make them in here and then you just stick them under the broiler for a couple of minutes, you know, so you can caramelize whatever sauce you want on them. All right, have a great night. Like I said, let me know what your questions are. I gotta go finish packing.